Mario Testino is one of the most influential fashion and portrait photographers of our time. With a career spanning over 4 decades, Testino has made significant contributions to the realms of photography, fashion, and art. Born in Lima, Peru in 1954, Testino moved to London in 1976, where he began his photography career. Through apprenticeships at the studios of John Vickers and Paul Nugent, Testino developed his distinctive style. His artistic approach evokes sensuality, energy, and openness. His portraits, often spontaneous and intimate, capture the humanity of his subjects, from A-list celebrities to cultural icons. His iconic work has been showcased in renowned international publications such as Vogue and Vanity Fair, and has also been exhibited in prestigious museums worldwide, including the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, the Kensington Palace in London, the Metropolitan Museum in Tokyo, the Shanghai Museum in China, and many more. His work has also been exhibited at numerous galleries around the world. Known for his collaborations with luxury brands such as Gucci, Burberry, Versace, Chanel, and Dolce & Gabbana, Testino has helped shape the visual language of modern fashion. He has also contributed to the success of many global brands and has become a leading figure in the fashion industry. Testino's career is also marked by his strong connection to royalty. His memorable 1997 photo shoot with Princess Diana for Vanity Fair opened the doors for him to photograph other royals, including the British royal family, the King and Queen of Jordan, and the Crown Prince and Princess of Denmark. Testino has also published over 20 books, including Portraits, In Your Face, and Kate Moss by Mario Testino. Testino's legacy continues to evolve through his ongoing A Beautiful World photography series and exhibitions, which highlight the beauty and richness of diverse global cultures. Beyond fashion, Testino is deeply committed to philanthropy and has used his platform to support various causes, donating proceeds from his photographs to organizations such as Save the Children, AMFAR, and the Elton John AIDS Foundation. In 2012, Testino opened the Museo Mario Testino in Lima, Peru, dedicated to promoting Peruvian arts and culture. In 2016, Testino launched the Parque Teresita Playground Project in Peru, named after his late mother. This initiative has expanded to multiple locations, benefiting thousands of families. Testino's creative vision also extends to the fine arts, where he has worked with renowned artists such as Keith Haring, Julian Schnabel, and Vic Muniz, showcasing his versatility and artistic expression. His personal art collection of paintings, sculptures, and photography has also been the subject of numerous exhibitions. Testino has also received prestigious accolades throughout his career, including the Order of the British Empire in 2014 and the Chevalier de la Légion d'honneur in 2017. Testino's work continues to be a reminder that art has the power to transcend boundaries and spark positive change, leaving an indelible mark on the fashion industry and the world at large. Mario, it is such an honor and a pleasure to have you here in Egypt, especially on your birthday.
Thank you so much. It's so funny because I usually do parties for my 60, 50, now was 70. But I had an exhibition in Rome in May and I did a big party and I was like, I'm not doing another party. And I said, I feel like being in Egypt. And that's what brought me here.
No way.
I have a friend called Zachy Sherif. He's my friend from the 80s in New York. And talking to him, I saw he had done the pool house of Kate Hudson in Los Angeles, and I couldn't believe that pool house because it had all this meshrabia around the pool house.
Wow.
So I called him for that, and from the conversation that we started doing to produce the meshrabia here for my pool house, I said to him, I would love to add Egypt to my project, A Beautiful World.
Tell us about what brought you here to Egypt, this project you're working on.
In 2007, I started a project called Alta Moda. I photographed all the traditional dresses of the highest regions of Peru, my country. And following the success of that show at my museum in Lima, I decided that I should start doing the world. And so I started going to different countries and photographing their traditional dresses. For the last 10 years that I worked for Vogue, because I sort of retired when I turned 65. But for the last 10 years, I worked for them. Every year, I decided to do a whole issue for a different Vogue. I had a contract with American Vogue, which was what everybody wanted. But I was curious of Vogue around the world.
So it was your idea to do this,
Yeah,
to do for each
well,
Vogue?
yeah, they started opening all over the world, the Vogues. Sometimes the editors would come to me at the shows and said, would you do something for us? And I decided that the way to do it was to do the whole issue because I like editing, I like joining the subjects, doing an art story, doing a fashion story, doing a travel story. So I wanted to do the whole issue and they accepted and then I started doing them. So every year I did a different issue. I was very lucky because the editors were very confident to give me. I did Vogue China, Vogue India, Vogue Japan, Vogue Spain, Vogue Brazil, all the different countries. And in every country I went, I wanted to define the DNA of the country because I thought you don't need to look like anybody else. Look at yourself and produce that and you'll be great. And so looking for all these traditions, I realized that little by little I wanted the traditions in front of the model. All of a sudden, fashion was interesting me less because for a fashion photographer, doing the couture that happens twice a year is where we really thrive, where you have hats and feathers and big dresses, and you can really go crazy. I was more known for doing the lifestyle shoots, travel, and that jet set life that Vogue represented. And slowly I was more interested in the traditions. I don't know why. It's almost like with age you start looking at the past.
Yeah, and it's more reality, more in touch with the real world, maybe.
In a way, we're much more in touch with where we live because of all these disasters we're having. We're starting to look at what really counts.
Yeah. Let's go back. A lot of people don't know how you started in photography and where you were raised and what inspired you. What were the key moments that led to this?
I was born and raised in Peru till the age of 19. I did university in Peru, economy and law, never finished them, but started them at least. Then I moved to California and then I moved to London. When I arrived to London, I thought, my God, this is the place I want to be. And I slowly started to become a photographer because to stay in England, you have to something to do. And I studied photography and then I got breaks doing test shots for models. When I started, my first real break was a lady that had a magazine called Over 21 and she started giving me the whole issue. I like to tell a story. I started, of course, doing 2 pictures for the magazine, but I like 20 pages where you really can interact with, And then in the 90s, there were my years. Gucci gave me the campaign. I worked with Tom Ford for almost 10 years that he was at Gucci. Then I did Madonna. She asked me to do a campaign for Versace. From that, she asked me to do her album cover, Ray of Light. I did her as Evita. I did her when she had her first child. I started working with her a lot. Then in the late 90s, I got asked to photograph Princess Diana, which is maybe what most people remember me for.
Tell us about that moment. Is it like a life-changing, because you were already big before that.
I want to be a fashion photographer, so photographing people scared me a little bit.
Really?
That they didn't have the proportions. We're insecure. Doing a fashion picture is one of the hardest things there is because you have to invent so much, deal with reality so much, and then put them together and make it work. And it doesn't always work. I mean, it's a trial and error. But everybody said to me, oh, what are you talking about? This is the most amazing thing that happens to you. The interesting thing is that when I went to photograph, she had a bit of wavy hair. She was giving up her role as the princess. They had taken away her status of HRH, Her Royal Highness.
Okay.
Because since the divorce, Versace had done a new dress for her, which I was supposed to do for the cover of the magazine. And we were photographing all the dresses that she was selling for a charity. She was a very charitable lady. The truth is that when the pictures came out, it was enormous, the reaction. And so sad that she left us so quick afterwards.
Were these the last pictures of Diana?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
The last commission pictures, no?
Wow, that's amazing.
It's so funny because in life you never know what's going to come to you or why it comes or when it comes. And I never expected or relied or wanted it. It just was something that I was offered and that I accepted and did it. And hopefully did it well, because when I went to photograph, I had the decision to make whether I photograph her as a princess or as a friend. And my pictures are all about life and intimacy, and so I decided to treat her like she was my best friend. So we'd been to the party, we come back, you take your shoes, you sit on the sofa and you chat. And that was the
I love that. Well, I think that's why the pictures had such a reaction, because it's the first time we saw her
like she
personality,
was,
who she
maybe,
really
yeah,
is.
yeah.
How did that affect your career after that? Because obviously then,
Well,
I'm sure since she passed away, everything.
That's when I started working for Vogue, who I was on contract for 25 years, American Vogue. And I worked for all the other Vogues in Europe. I started working for Burberry, where I did their campaign for 19 years.
Wow.
And then I did Michael Kors for 16 years. Then I started working with Chanel Beauty, and I was with them for many years. Dolce Gabbana, I did all the light blue
The
perfume. You know, I did, and that was my first film that I did. I'd never done a film. I done the photograph, and Stefano Gabbana called me and said, nobody will be able to reproduce this photograph in film. You have to do the film. And I was like, I don't do films. I've never done film. And I was mad because Madonna asked me once to do a film for one of her video clips. And I just was too intimidated. I didn't feel ready to do it, and I turned it down.
Wow.
But anyhow.
Okay. Well, now we know he can do it. And then at some point, you were telling me that you decided you want to do less commercial work.
Well, you know what happens is that most people in a normal job have a retirement date. Everybody gets their pension and they can stop working and get paid to live. And I was very conscious when I was doing these issues in different countries that what I really, really wanted to do for myself was do personal projects. At the time when I was working, a lot of the clients were being exposed to so many different mediums. All of a sudden, they all had to do social media. Film was becoming very important. Photography wasn't the only way. Imagine when I started, we used to do 6 pictures for a season, for a campaign. Today, 6 pictures in a day.
Nobody would accept.
Things were changed, and I thought that too many people were involved. It wasn't anymore like when I did Gucci with Tom Ford. It was Tom, Karin Roitfeld, and me. We discussed everything together on the set, and we did the pictures. Now it was the designer plus 10 other people with 10 other requests. So the creativity actually felt less exciting. One day I decided, why not just go for what I feel like doing? And here I am. And I've come to Egypt to incorporate Egypt in the project A Beautiful World. The first exhibition was in Palazzo Bonaparte in Rome, but this is the 36th country I do. And it's the most enriching thing I could have decided to do. It's unbelievable.
Really? So tell us about your connection to Egypt. You've come before.
Well, been coming since the 80s.
As a tourist?
The first time I came with a friend just as a tourist. Don't forget that I come from Peru, and you have pharaohs, we have Incas.
Yes.
So there is a sort of association in the way I was raised with this culture behind my everyday life. It's very interesting because I always thought from Peru, Egypt, so far away, I always thought it was a very exotic place, something unattainable, almost like a dream or a fantasy. And I have to say that coming here, it's unbelievable how exotic it really is. And I drive everywhere in town, downtown, the old town, the new town, and it's inspiring everywhere I go. There's always something that makes me stop to look. And I feel so at home because it's so similar to the way Peru is.
Really?
And Latin
Okay, now we
countries,
all want to go to Peru.
Yeah, you would love it.
And I got a glimpse of the photos you've done here, which are phenomenal. But tell us how the trip has been going, Luxor, Aswan.
Well, the trip has been amazing. I decided to do a production in Cairo first. We worked here for 5 days. Then we went to Luxor, worked for 2 days, and then we went to celebrate my 70th birthday on a boat with the people that have participated on this project from the beginning. We are 8 of us.
Wow.
And with my friend Zachy, and I don't know why I haven't done it before.
The Nile cruise is unbelievable.
God, no, it's like,
Yeah, it's so special. What a great place to celebrate.
tomorrow I would like to go to a mosque to thank because it's been such an unbelievable trip. And now we ended with a party here.
Yes, we're still
José Paillo,
celebrating.
exactly.
It's such a special birthday. And today it's a big year. You're turning 70. And I know that you like to celebrate your age. And I think you have a beautiful message.
I keep on saying I'm gonna be like the sample to age, but I feel there is a problem because people are not appreciating age like it used to be appreciated before. The elders, the wise.
Yes, so true.
And enjoyed the 40s, I've enjoyed the 50s, the 20s were amazing. But why shouldn't my 70s be incredible and yeah, be as exciting as any other age? All these filters that make everybody look perfect when nobody's perfect. I don't know what people are afraid of.
Yes. Let's end the interview on a message you have for, you're an icon to so many people in the industry, in the fashion industry, photography industry, the art. What is the message you have for so many people who would love to follow in your footsteps or to break into what is, as you know, a very, very competitive industry?
It's an interesting thing because I'm in my 45 years in the fashion world. I don't think that there was one moment when I felt secure.
Really?
It doesn't exist because when you're creative, you're always conscious that you're only as good as your last picture when you're in the game.
Yeah.
Maybe now that I'm not in that game and I look, I can say that was a good picture. But one thing very important is to always be little. In order to be big, you have to be little because if you're already big in your head, you know,
Nowhere to grow,
nowhere
right?
to grow, and you have to always leave space to grow because, as my mother said to me at 93, I'm learning computing, I'm learning English. In my head, thought, why? When you're already at the end of your life, and knowledge is something that never ceases to amaze us.
Yeah.
Be important, and leaving that door open because we get locked into who we think we are, but we're only that until we discover something new. And if you listen to the people around, the sad thing is that advice usually comes as criticism, and it's hard to swallow when you're in a shoot and somebody tells you that picture is terrible, you've already done it. You know you've already done it and it's not that great, but you need to hear it like that. Because the more you stay little, the more you can hear, the more you learn, you pay attention. Any advice is good advice, even if it comes with a knife on your back. And learn. Be open to change. And I have noticed in the last 10 years the change of the world. If I talk to the young kids, how they think, how they work, it has nothing to do with how I think. It's very interesting. And I will quote my mom one last time because in her late life, she said a lot of wise things to me. But I remember us going for lunch, the whole family, and she had her phone and she put some music in the restaurant, which I was like, what are you doing? And she says, I'm getting ready because you will see everybody will come on the table and everybody will take out their phones. And the thing that we had before conversation is not what it was. And it's so interesting.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. People
It's
don't
what it
connect
is.
anymore.
Yeah,
the same
not the way we were.
Yeah. So, is there anything left? You've done so much in your career after A Beautiful World that you
Well,
want to
the
do.
thing is that A Beautiful World like for life.
It can keep going,
36
right?
countries, and I've come to Egypt this time. And leaving, I realized there's a lot of things I could still do here.
Yeah.
So I might have to come back. There is a whole new thing happening in this part of the world that excites me.
It's a revival.
And if I could spend more time here, I don't know really. I'm letting life take me.
Are you still open for commercial work if people want to hire you, or is that door closed?
You can never say never. Yeah, of course I'm open.
Okay,
Yeah,
amazing.
it depends what it is and if it interests.
Okay, that's great news. We have something called the Enigma questionnaire. 5 words that best describe you.
Impatient. God, my patience is terrible. I'm a good friend, stick to the people I like,
Loyal.
hard worker, curious, and open because I like everything. So weird. I can be here, I can be in Lima, I can be in Rio, London, New York, and I feel great wherever I am.
Wherever, everywhere is home.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, what keeps you up at night?
God, my pictures.
Really?
Yes, of course. If I done the work, how can I retouch them? What should I do? And then there's the production and the work keeps me up at night.
Okay, what makes you laugh?
Oh, my friends, and I try to carry them with me everywhere I can. You met my friend
Yes,
Patrick
they're
the other day.
amazing. Such
We've
good
been-
energy.
We've been working together for 45 years, and we still laugh all day long.
That's amazing. So, working is a pleasure together.
Oh my God, yeah. I love my work. I love my fashion years were unbelievable. I don't know why God was so generous to me.
And who is your role model?
My parents, they
That's a
were
good answer.
kind, they were good people. They treated everybody great. They were loving.
If there was a book or a movie about your life, what would the title be?
Ever and ever, forever and ever. No, I don't know. Still here?
Still here, still rocking. Is there anybody you would like to play you in this movie?
I don't know the young ones now because they would have to start young. That's a hard one.
Maybe
Who think
Bradley Cooper, maybe.
he's a smart guy?
Yes,
No, and
he's
very good
intellectual
actor.
like you.
Yeah, I photographed him. Very funny.
I'm sure. What's one thing on your bucket list, personal? What would Mario Testino want to do in this life while he can?
I think that I adore the most is traveling. So I would like to carry on with my rhythm and traveling the world with all the people that I work with. That's my bucket list. Carry on doing what I do.
Is there any particular country left?
Well, I want to come back here. There's a lot of countries left, of course. I mean, all this region,
Middle East?
the Middle East. I
Arabia.
think that's so interesting. No, I mean, I've been doing a lot of Africa as well, which is breathtaking, the traditions that they have over there. But yes, everywhere.
That's great news for us. Thank you so much, Mario.
Thank
It's been
you.
such a pleasure.
And thanks for receiving me in such style
God.
here.